Peace to the family. This is the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com here with another video. Today we will be continuing our Soul Talk series, and the last time we were here we were discussing Revelations chapter 7, and that was in 2017. And so let's just say we took a little break, but the break's over, takes over. And I'm just going to go through each and every verse of chapter 8 of the book of Revelations. I'm going to tie in Zachary Lansdowne's reference to this work, and then beyond that, add in my little spice and things of that nature. But the purpose of this video is to provide real solutions and real variable, applicable ways, and I guess it's no way to actually attune to the soul. There is no actual modality to say this is the way that you tune into the soul. But with all of that being said, I still want to help those who have questions. So the reason that I'm doing this live and not recorded is just in case you may have some questions. I can tune in and tap into the questions. And also would like to let people know that the shadow work course will be taking place as scheduled June 26th at 11:11 a.m. as well as Chakra Nova, Astrology Explained, how to read natal charts easily and effectively is available at columbianexchange.com. All of these links will be in the description and the pinned comment in the video. Be sure to like and subscribe this video, because even though this energy or message might not resonate with you, maybe the person that is watching your page or watching your feed, catching your shares, might be me, recognizes the God in all of you, and I just want to bring this conversation to light. So thanks everybody for joining me, but ultimately I want to have a real deep spiritual conversation with my soul. And I also want people to hear this conversation that I'm having with my soul. And so if you need to get caught up on how do we get to chapter 8, please refer to my channel around 2017 when I did chapter 1 through 7. And so I don't want to keep you guys for too long, so let's begin with the verses. And give me one moment, family, while I set something right. Peace to everyone on the chat. Peace to your mama, peace to your daddy, peace to your kids, peace to your grandma and them, peace to your uncles, your aunts, peace to your cousins, peace to your best friend, peace to your brother, who else? Your little nephew, peace to him, your little niece, can't forget her, most importantly, your little niece. But other than that, family, it's an honor and a privilege to be here in this moment to share this information. One of the most important keys to life is that it's not an external mastery more than it is an internal mastery. And ultimately, it's not how healthy you are physically, but how healthy you are mentally, how healthy you are emotionally, how healthy you are spiritually. And that's where I come in. No, I don't speak about making money. No, I don't speak about doing practical things and fundamental things, because all of those things are things that y'all gonna do anyways. What I'm here for is what's possibly never been done. The psychologically sound black man and woman on the face of this earth, realizing that we are the creators, the originators, not of civilization, but of the cosmos. And when we tune into this particular frequency through the act of internal processing, I know that everything works itself out. So no, I'm not the most exciting person. No, I'm not the most practical person, but I try to be as psychologically sound as I can. And before I get into this, I have to make this disclaimer. When I reference psychologic, I'm referencing the soul and the study of the soul. And every time that I bring forth information and content, it's in reference of the study of the soul and its mechanics. And to bring me, my people, my family, my bloodline out of darkness is what I feel is my birthright and something that I love doing. So I just really appreciate this time to share this message. So here we are, chapter 8, verse 1. When he, the Lamb, broke open the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven for about a half an hour in awe of God's impending judgment. So ultimately, with the Bible, it's not important to read every single word and break down every single word or take everything literally based upon this is a book more of symbols and sigils and particular spells, intentions, and all types of metaphysical, biological, and mathematical things in reference to sex magic, Adam and Eve, things of that nature. So, when you get to Revelation, it's not talking about the end of the world more than it is talking about revealing something that has been hidden. So what has historically been hidden to the human person is that they are a divine being. And in order to tap into that divine beingship might be the hardest endeavor than anything in the earth. Meaning that you would work so very hard to be an accountant. You would work so very hard to be a mathematician. You would work so very hard to be a doctor. You would work so very hard to be a beautician. But the same effort and energy would take for you to find your soul times 10 might mean that you might have to take all of the things that you work so hard for on the external on the back burner to find that internal bliss. And so the purpose of chapter 8, the purpose of awakening Kundalini is to bring about a nirvana and a bliss as an internal experience. Because you already look amazing. You couldn't even look better than what you look right now. So what's next? Feeling good on the inside. And so when we reference the seventh seal, we're also referencing the seventh chakra. The silence in heaven for about a half an hour is talking about meditation. Meditation is a state of mental silence. It's a space of not thinking, right? So what are we getting when we get into this space of meditation? It means that we're able to receive energies from the soul. So before I go any further, I would just simply ask, in this world where everything is triggering you, there's a lot of distractions and everything is calling for your money and your attention, and you stress and you're unhappy and you're confused and you're unaware of what's going on in the external world, I would just ask you for a couple of seconds of your time, a few minutes of your time, and to just simply relax and stop asking questions, stop thinking, stop imagining that the answer is somewhere outside of you. For a moment, realize that part of this is required of effort and internalization of that effort, not particularly a step-by-step process. This brings me to the realization of a lot of spiritualists on YouTube that say you have to read books. Well, Chakra Nova teaches specifically that you are the book. And so ultimately you can say, well, Kyrie says that I should study myself more than I should have a table full of books and read 100 books a day. Not to saying that books are bad and not to say that movies are bad, but if a person watches 100 movies a day, that might be a problem. And you say, how could you watch 100 movies a day? You could speed through it. And you could just sit there and you could watch a whole bunch of movies. Put the speed on 20 and just sit there. That wouldn't be healthy. But if you watch a movie here and there, Nothing really wrong with that. If you read a book here and there, there's nothing really wrong with that. To pass the time, there's nothing really wrong with that. But at the same time, the majority of your study, the majority of your reflection should be on the internal. But this is the issue. If you're referencing words, and if you're referencing thoughts, and you're referencing intellect, you're referencing particular wisdoms and traditions and habits and parties and get-togethers and functions and schedule meetings and, rent and bills and jobs and works and, a plethora of things to think about. When do you have time to not think? Because when they reference the mind is all, the mind thus has to be reflected upon through not thinking. Because thinking and the mind are two separate modalities. The mind is all. Thinking is a small segment of your ego realistic thought, meaning that the things that you were thinking about 10 years ago, the things that you were stressing out about, you broke a CD, right? Remember you broke your CD was all scratched up. Then you had to come up with $20 and you ain't have $20 because you ain't get paid till Friday and it was Monday and that was your CD that you worked to. So you went to ask your mom, can I get $20 so I can buy the CD? And your mom told you no, and you was real pissed off about that. Now 10 years later, that whole situation is completely inconsequential, to which you have serious shit going on right now that's completely inconsequential, because 10 years from now you'll reflect on this point in time. That's how inconsequential this moment is. So if time is perpetually an inconsequential, overhyped, energetic, emotional excitement, then how one should actually spend their time, maybe not a majority of their time, but the verse specifically says a half an hour in silence in heaven. See, the mind is all, the mind is heaven. See, the deeper reflection is when you're in the astro, your mind is reflecting on the astro. When you're on the etheric realms, your mind is reflecting on the etheric realms. When you're in the ancestral realms, your mind is reflecting on the ancestral realms. So wherever you go in life, wherever you go in eternity, you can go multiple lifetimes in eternity and your mind was there. Because the mind is all. They say when you die, you go to heaven, meaning that when you die, you get encapsulated within your mind. Or you go to hell, to which hell represents the energy that you're already living in, because you don't understand that your heaven is your mind. But in order to tune into it, you have to experience silence. But it's very hard to do that with these little things we got right here. These things make it hard to bring about silence in heaven for about a half an hour, because if you checked your screen time, you then would get into the more understanding of, man, it's very difficult to find that peace. So let's move on to verse 2. Then I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and the 7 trumpets were given to them. Okay. When we reference the chakras, we're referencing mandalas. Okay? And mandalas are a gateway to your soul. And also, when you tap into your soul, that's a connotation to personal gratification and personal satisfaction and emotional balance and the overall feeling that you can accomplish everything that you personally want to accomplish in life. And a deeper reality that washes over you is that you cannot please everybody. And an even deeper reality washes over you. You're not even going to please the majority of people out there, because their standards are so high and you'll never meet their standards. But however, what you can begin to do is feel great about being you, and you become the magnet to your highest desires. But all of this is an internal process that one would say requires effort and understanding your endocrine glands and how you respond to traumas and emotions and things of that nature. But what do I know? Maybe if you have a bunch of money, one of the episodes, because I reflected on these episodes today, and one of the episodes we reflected on the concept of Jezebel. And the concept of Jezebel is a simple concept. This is the concept that sensual pleasures lead to happiness. Now, sensual pleasures is a huge host of things that we've been taught by our mom and dad. Whether it's a job, whether it's a business, whether it's money, whether it's investments, whether it's property, whether it's a whole plethora of material things. But you can look at these same people with all of these things that I just referenced, and they don't have a sense of centeredness and a sense of spiritual awareness. And they'll just want more things, and they'll get caught up. That's why they say the rich get richer, because the rich need to constantly do the thing that they've done yesterday to feel satisfied. Because if you took their money away, if you took their actual point of existence away, you might find something real little at the core of this. So don't fret if you're not rich. Don't fret if you're not in love. Understand that you never came down here to be rich or to marry anybody in the first place. You came down here with a specific purpose to find heaven. And the way that you find heaven is by understanding your human body and how your human body responds to the environment. And not in a fake way, not in a way to which you pay the hood mystic $1,000 and I say, this person here has a chakra balance because they went through the chakra course that I created that I charged you $1,000 for. So this person is now healed because they went through my system. No, that's not the way, in the right exact way of revelation that it works. Revelation costs $0. Even if you buy my book, buying my book is not awakening your chakras. Purchasing my book will not activate your chakras. Reading the books, going through the activities, understanding the supplements, and talking to your medical professional if you have problems with herbal supplements, understanding your body will activate your chakras. And there is no guru that you could buy or pay for. So fret not if you're not rich. Fret not if you haven't met your soulmate, divine lover of all time. Because what if I told you that all of these things, wealth, love, are internal processes? So to go within yourself, you are tapped in and tuned in to the 7 angels who stand before God and the 7 trumpets who are given to them. So the thing about a trumpet, the trumpet is a horn. But if you look at a trumpet like a 3D, it's a mandala. It's a circle that leads into a void. But it's an instrument for sound. But the trumpet thus is a symbol. It's not an actual trumpet more than it is a symbol for a chakra. It's a round circle that represents an endless void of unlimited abundance. Meaning that the best trumpet player is rich as hell. Because he can produce beautiful sounds that can't be produced by even, another trumpet player. Or a person who hasn't a trumpet at all. Ultimately, these are instruments for projection. These are instruments for transformation. These are mandalas. These are chakras. So the 7 seals who stand before God in the 7 trumpets. So if you externalizing this, you imagining 7 angels with wings who stand before God. You imagine them to have 7 trumpets playing the latest Louis Armstrong tune. But if this was all symbology and this was all referencing to something, well, the most important thing that we could ever reference is our damn selves. So the very important point is to bring the power back to you. So then I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, me, and 7 trumpets were given to them. These are the 7 mandalas. These are the 7 chakras that we'll begin to talk about. Another angel came and stood at the altar. He had a golden censer, and much incense was given to them, so that he might add to it prayers to all the saints, God's people, on the golden altar in front of the throne. One second. So, what is an altar? An altar is the act of tuning with your souls. Offerings and incense is the energy signature that form the soul. This free flowing, without form energy that is ignited by flame and resin that creates smoke is like when the human being merges with their soul and creates essence. We use the soul as we use the smoke rather as a symbol for how the soul is activated. So you have fire, your Kundalini, you have the frankincense, or you have the myrrh, or you have your other resins, and you bring those things together. It creates smoke and fragrance. This is essence. So when you are in tune with your soul, you're not so much concerned about your physical things that you have, or the money that you make, or the investments that you make, or nothing of that fact. You're more concerned with the essence that you permeate, more or less the taste that you leave in people's mouths after you leave a room, or the impact that you make on an instant. But it's hard to compartmentalize that or understand that when you're going through inner turmoil and you're afraid of the world. See, when you're afraid of the world, you're not even trying to make no impact. You ain't trying to leave no positive impact. You're not trying to own the room. You're trying to get your coconut milk, get your Whole Foods version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and get up out of there. You ain't saying hi to brothers. You ain't saying beat. No matter how many classes you take, no matter how many books you read, no matter what goes on in your external life, until you deal with your inner emotional balance and understanding, all of that is for naught. Because we have 24 hours, and how we deal with that 24 hours becomes the most important thing. The most important thing is, where are you getting your directions from? Are you getting your directions from TV? Are you getting your directions from Twitter? Are you getting your directions from Instagram? Are you getting your directions from Facebook? Are you spending time in mental silence, opening up these mandalas within yourself, and taking the time to know self and understand yourself? And this is not a way of mumbo jumbo. This is you setting up an altar and doing altar work and understanding the power of incense and the symbology behind it, the power of candles, the power of earth, the power of water, the power of ancestors, the power of soul, the power of self-deification, the power of activating your energy centers through Kundalini work. And once again, no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how deep your guru is, it's going to be a requirement, not in a point of time where you get a crown for being the most enlightened being. Because even me, tomorrow, if I don't do this work, I'm subject to the energies of the human as we get into. So who is this video for? Essentially, this video is for me, so I don't drop the ball on my realization of the self, because the realization of the self is not a thought more than it is an effort. Because this is the hardest thing that a person might ever do, to fully self-realize, to fully self-deify, to see the God within himself so deeply that it overrides the human consciousness. Because the human consciousness and the ego is a powerful, powerful energy. In every movie is an adversary. What does that adversary represent? It represents the ego, not the ego of Donald Trump and Joe Biden, because they never bullied me and knocked on my door and smacked me in the face. But my ego been beating me up for a long time. So this is the true adversary. But we can stay in unison and peace with our soul through healthy, persistent altar work. In the smoke and fragrant aroma of the incense, with the prayers of the saints and God's people ascended before God from the angel's hand. 1 second, guys. You guys are so doggone patient with me as I just be doing stuff on the fly, always forgetting that my bandwidth about as strong as a little old lady who just got finished working out with Billy Blanks. It ain't that she weak, she just a little tired. She need to smoke her little CBD joint and relax. That's how my Wi-Fi be feeling sometimes. But I digress, or progress, however you want to look at this. Verse 4. In the smoke and fragrant aroma of the incense, with the prayers of the saints, God's people ascended before God from the angel's hand. Once again, the saints are the cells. God's people are the cells. It's not talking about a whole bunch of strangers out here in the streets buying Black and Milds at the corner store. And you reading the Bible said it's all about the saints and God's people, and they stole $20 out your wallet. Because you thinking everybody is cool. Everybody is God's people. So, the smoke and the fragrant aroma, to reiterate, is when the human and the soul embrace and create the essence of Kundalini energy. The essence of Kundalini energy is a sincere, pragmatic, effort, explainable approach to awakening your energy centers, because you are the book. You are the best psychic on the planet. This is the gift that we are offering with Chakra Nova. This is not my gift. This is your gift. This is why it is made being available, because this is the time of revelation. A key example is because when we reference the matrix falling in our first 7 series of this series, that was in 217. Everything that was being brought forward was necessary as we transition through this 2020-21, and trust me, the transitions are not over. These transitions are not over, to which you will not be able to look at the external and get a feel for things. So, before it's too late, tune in to the reality. Well, let me backtrack. I was in my sales. I apologize. I got in my sales bag real fast, and I apologize for that. It's never too late, because we have already reached the finish line. We are infinite beings. We just don't know that. Okay? It's never too late. Boy, you be getting in your sales bag. So, meditation is the common purpose between the body and the soul. These are the only 2 things that the body and the soul have in common. Otherwise, the body has a function and the soul have a function. When the body and the soul are in harmony, in true harmony, is in non-movement and non-thought. I know y'all like to walk around and meditate. I know y'all like to work out and meditate. I know y'all like to be progressive in y'all meditation, but we are activating our Kundalini, and we are opening up our chakras, and we have to practice and put effort into non-movement, into non-thought. Meaning that if you got kids, you got to wake up before your kids, or you got to, because if you say you're going to do it at night, all you're going to do is fall asleep. And if you fall asleep, you're not meditating. So, in your waking world, you need to bond with the soul for enlightenment, because that is your true directive. To which, if your attention is on something else other than your soul, that thing is telling you exactly what it is to do. To which I get a get out of jail free card, because all that I'm saying, I'm not saying tune in to me. I'm saying tune in to your soul specifically. So, I'm rubber, you glue. Whatever I say bounce off me and stick to you. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be as clear as I can with this message. Because your soul and all of these things that I'm referencing, your astrology, your shadow, your soul, your chakras, these are things that exist within you, and your understanding of it makes your life that much more tangible and your purpose that much functional, because you realize that you are not just this human. Whew. You are a spiritual being within this body, and the mechanics to free yourself might be a little bit more difficult than watching the latest Brother Panic video. It might be a little more difficult than that than watching the latest Hood Mystic video. It might take you to do something outside of watching videos and being passive in your spiritual pursuits, and to integrate within this actual energy. But this is where we're talking about meditation. This is where we're talking about altar work. And these things become essential. These are things we talk about studying the charts, studying the moon phases. These things become somewhat daunting, but at the same time, it's like we pay attention to bullshit, and that shit is daunting. Y'all know every single Jordan, every single color. Y'all know everything that's happened on Real Housewives of LA. Y'all know every single brand of Yaki, the Brazilian, the Indian. Y'all know all of that. Y'all know who got the cheapest. You know who got the best weed in the city. You know who got the best french fries, who got the best chicken wings, who got the best hamburgers. You know everything about everything, to which when I start talking about your chakras, that's too much. I don't know about that. I got my stories to watch. I like watching my movies and my shows. You don't watch every single episode of every single show there is on Netflix. You really fleshed out that subscription. To which, when you really want to get into a point of understanding your direction and understanding your focus, you in tune to your soul for a particular purpose, to get a direction, to get a flow, to understand what it is I should be doing. The problem with human beings is that they think they can come to me for direction, and I politely redirect them back to their souls and say, you need to sustain that. You need to hold that resonance, because I'm not a guarantee. I'm 10 seconds away from doing full-time stripping. I'm not working out to just be working out. Y'all think I'm playing. Snickers is on the prowl, and it's just levels to it. I'm one step away. So the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and hurled it to the earth, and there were peals of thunder and loud rumblings and sounds and flashes of lightning and earthquake. Once again, this is all eternal, all internal. None of this is happening in the world, because are we waiting for lightning and earthquakes to tune into our soul or something like that? So the angel, which represents the chakra or the awakened chakra, took the censer or the incense or the actual combination of fire and resin, smoke, and the censer is the container of it. So the censer would be the body. So the chakra is going through the body, and it filled it with fire from the altar, from this altar work, from this self-deification work, you then are hurled or pushed forward into earth. Meaning that only in the spiritual community I get into, I can't stand earth. The earth is ghetto. I need to get off this planet. I don't like it here. But what this specific verse is referencing is doing this internal work and automatically expecting a transformation to occur. Because it's not, because once again, we're realizing that we create our world from an internal understanding. And that internal understanding is somewhat blocked by our flight or flight. Meaning that we engage like this with the world. We want to fight the world. And chill. Y'all want to fight everybody. Y'all got a problem with everybody. Y'all don't like the government. Y'all don't like y'all mama. Y'all don't like nobody. Y'all don't like y'all siblings. Y'all be mad. The banks, the bureaucrats, Amazon, Steve Jobs. Y'all just don't like nobody. And Steve Jobs ain't never did nothing to you. Them people don't even know you, not even thinking about you. And I'll go even further. None of these people, no matter what they do, would stop the process of you and tuning into your soul. So doing your chakra work and raising your Kundalini is a transformative process that is your overall breakthrough. It is your salvation. It is your Jesus. Hallelujah, Mama Jaya. Shashamo. Speaking in tongues on the live. I don't care. To which I don't care what you're going through in life. If you in tune to your soul, you'll find your purpose. You in tune to your soul for what? To find the directive. The directive is an easier word. In esoteric books, they'll call it spiritual will. Spiritual will is confusing to a lot of people. You want to know what to do in life because 10 times out of 10 you confused, and when you feeling confused, it's real easy to feel like that. That's why I did this video, because a lot of people disconnected from soul, and the feeling when you disconnected from soul is, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing? I hate it here. I'm tired of going to the club. I don't even like going to the club. I don't got no money for a restaurant, not the restaurant that I like. I don't want to go on a date. I want to go on a date, but I don't want to go on a date with him. I'm unsatisfied with life, and there your soul sitting with you this whole entire time like, what's up? What we gonna do? Let's meditate. And you saying, well, I don't got enough money. You saying I ain't working. Your soul say, I know you're not working. I set that up for you so we could get one-on-one. You like, yeah, whatever. Now you on YouTube, and they done fucked up the algorithms to nothing on YouTube no more. You barely gonna be able to watch this video, because I swear this video will have 20 views, and you be like, well, damn, why this video ain't got no views? Hell if I know. I don't care. I'm talking to myself. So if nobody watches this video, this information is doing it for me. And that's all that it matters, because at the end of the day, if I'm not getting what I need from the external, I then go from the internal and then create. The beautiful thing about life is that you able to broadcast, you able to share, and you might uplift somebody else. That's beautiful to me. Might or might not, but at the same time, you here to do this work of understanding yourself, and this work is going to transform you. And if you think that in tuning to your soul is not going to transform you, you're not going to put the effort and energy into it. You're going to put the effort and energy to get your money. You're going to put the effort and energy to making your husband happy. You're going to put the effort and energy to making your wife happy, on raising your kids. And your kids going to get grown, and they ain't even going to like you all like that. Your wife going to divorce you. Your husband going to divorce you. Your parents is going to move on. They're going to look at you like you crazy. And this whole entire time, yourself was there. And let's parlay this into relationships. What does this look like in relationships when you know what you want? And then what is the false premise of all relationships? This is how we kill each other. When we compromise and we try to have discussions on what your partner said that they wanted. That is not a discussion. That is not a compromise. That is a human being. That is a soul. Let me backtrack. That is a soul telling you what their path says is for them. But see, we're not ready for transformation. We're just playing this game of fear and trauma bond. I'm afraid to lose you. I can't see you with nobody else. We've never experienced the energies of bliss or nirvana because this is an internal process. This is an understanding of your energy and your emotional response, to which you stop fighting the world and your relationships and trying to hold people back and trying to compromise with somebody. If that person tell you what they want, you need to give it to them or move out of their way. This is the 2021 message. Y'all never heard it before, but tell me it don't make sense. Tell me it's crazy to sit in there compromising if a person told you, hey, I'm into this now. And you look at and you feel a certain type of way. This shadow work class is going to be something else. I'm sure y'all all signed up for it. Once it's filled, I'm not going to be the one that can bring it on. The way that it's set up is a certain amount of people that can sign up, and once that certain amount of people sign up, that's it. So, and I say that to say it's going to be more the lines of what I just referenced on my little digression. But let's go ahead on to verse 6. We got 13 verses to get to. If you worried or if you got something to do, like I said, I'm not going to keep you here for a long time, but I'm definitely going to have you here, and it's going to be a good time. So verse 6. The 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound them, initiating the judgments. The 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets. So the 7 angels and the 7 trumpets are the 7 chakras. And when you prepare something to sound them, you're initiating this process. To initiate something represents a sequential order. So this is ultimately the sequential process of chakra activation and Kundalini rising. Of course, we can study about chakras individually, and that's perfectly fine. But the overall understanding of getting rising things from the base is going from the bottom to the top. And that's effort. Yeah, I read about the third eye. Yeah, I read about the crown. Yeah, I read about the throat chakra. But you ain't done chakra work if you ain't built it up sequential. And this is more or less of what this verse is talking about. But like I said, I'm not about to keep y'all here for a long time. So I'm going to go through this. We're just going through this. And then we'll just do a little commercial break. And then we'll get to verse 7. The funny thing is, like, y'all say so many wonderful things about me, and I can never take credit for it because it was never me. It was always me reflecting upon my soul that brought forth any message or any conversation. And then when we referenced the reading, that was always y'all souls telling me what to say. So me, I might be shooting dice tomorrow or something. I'm weird, just... Is that the hood Mystic shooting dice over on goddamn? What you doing there shooting dice, boy? You better get home to them kids and them babies. I'm just left field a lot of times. So I have to always reflect on my soul to get right. And then once again, be a channel and the medium for the ancestors and for the souls that are needing that alignment. And ultimately, throughout my work, throughout my life, I never had to force or pressurize a person. Generally, when your soul give you that itching to say you need to reach out the hood, generally you'll do it. You'll have the money to do it, or whatever the case may be, and that's always how it worked. Because I'm a specialty, I know my specialty is not being nothing. My specialty is being nothing, rather. My specialty is being nothing but a reflecting or a mirror or a channel for your higher self to speak to you in a confirming way, so you could be your best self and find your purpose by tuning to your soul, to which your soul and your ancestors and your guides is always with you, but you be in tune into the external physical. And these energies that are your higher capabilities and higher functions, which we'll talk about in chapter 9, represent these non-physical energies. And they are not to be seen, but to be felt. But the gateway is how you actually feel, not how you actually look, because you look beautiful already. You can't get no more beautiful, goddess, God. How many more muscles can you get? I didn't know you could have a 12-pack. You trying to get a 14-pack now. Okay. Let me just get my little 6-pack and get out the way then. I ain't trying to cause no ruckus or cause no scene. But at the same time, how big is you going to get with these muscles? To which is always about this. The mind is all. But it's hard to get there if that external and those Jezebel energies would say the sensual pleasures in life is going to bring me happiness. But the counter to that is activating your Kundalini brings about bliss and nirvana. So let's deal with that. The first angel, the first chakra, this is representing the sacral chakra, or the energy or the Kundalini rising from the root chakra to the sacral chakra, sounded his trumpet, and there was a storm of hail and fire. Hail and fire. Hail just means transformed energy. Hail is water that has been transformed into earth. So water is your emotions. Your emotions, if fixated on, become real things. Now you wearing bell bottoms and it's 2021 and you stuck in the 70s. Your emotions to the 70s have become a real thing. That's just an analogy. Mixed with blood, and it was buried to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. So once again, we are doing Kundalini. You're ultimately integrating your soul. Your soul. It's like, this is what it's like. You live in the projects, and for some reason you go viral singing a song, and now Lori Harvey is in your DMs. And it's not that you live in the projects, it's that you live in the projects with your mom and your little brother. And it's like you sleep in the bedroom with your little brother for real. But little Lori Harvey is on your line. Like, she really love your music, want to get to know you. And she just texts you like, I want to be in a real serious relationship with you. Are you going to invite her at your mom's house? 10 times out of 10, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I had my own crib. I'm going to try to get a hotel room. So, activating your Kundalini is a bad bitch. It's a beautiful woman. It's a sexy man. To which it requires new furniture. This is what this verse is trying to say. When you are in tune to your spiritual life and you are in tune to transformation, you got to be ready to go towards your destiny. And you might get caught up on how is it going to lead. But at the end of the day, if your soul carry you for a 24-hour period, it's up to you to take advantage of that or be grateful for that. Meaning that you soul been looking out for you big time over these past couple of years, but you've been blowing the money. To which you got to start being smarter with your money now that you know how it's going to operate. If I'm going to be making the money like I'm going to be making it, I need to be smarter with it. Because it's obviously not the money making part, it's the what you doing with it part. So if I'm really serious about change and I'm really serious about my financial life, I'm not going to continue with the same habits more than I'm going to keep track and make this shit count. So another analogy is when I'm into this soul work and I'm into this spiritual work, I'm not going to say I'm just using this to get a promotion at my job. I'm willing to let go of this job. I'm not going to say I'm doing this so I can refurbish my house. You're saying I'm willing to let go of this house. You're willing to follow your soul wherever it take you. And I know it's weird and you look strange and people is like, why would you do that? Why would you just leave what you had to get something that you don't even know if you're going to get? And see, they don't understand a person that listens to their soul versus listening to naysayers and listening to obstacles. So, and another person who's, this is a fact, you're operating and moving from the energy of Kundalini. So when you move and operate from the energy of Kundalini, now everything is intensified. So once again, I can't stress this enough. I'm going to say this a lot. The portal to activating the sacral chakra would be positive feelings. Because if you are activating your sacral chakra and you understand that Kundalini energy intensifies everything, is also going to intensify your negative energy. So finding a healthy, peaceful balance and not responding to your stress in a negative way, but learning how to stay in a positive sense or a positive energy field as you do the chakra work is essential. Because if you're looking for a solution to your anger and then you tie into this Kundalini, it's just going to make you even more angrier because it intensifies anything. It's more of like an animal. And an animal is not in the realms of right or wrong. It's if your dog sees an attacker, it's not going to be like, well, yesterday I was on some cool shit with my master, so I'm going to just be on cool shit now. It sees a threat, so it's going to attack. That's your Kundalini energy. So it's going to indicate that this negative energy that you're feeling is in reference to a war that we're fighting. Here it is, you live in Plain Hills somewhere and you just be, walking back and forth from the store and shit. You mad about your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Ain't no war happening. Ain't no existential threat whatsoever. It's goddamn squirrels running around in front of you. Ain't no animals. Ain't no woolly mammoths. Peace and blessings, David. Thank you. So it's very important for us as black men and women to not base our reality on the existential, but base it on the spiritual practice of spiritual union and understanding and preparation for transformation. Thank you, David. I really do appreciate the donations and the support, because if those things never happen, I for sure would be working at McDonald's right now. So I'm very humbled and grateful that people do support this message and vision, even if it is for them to be the best version of themselves. But that's the ultimate intention for everything that I do. I would not be here if I didn't have the specific intention for energies to tune in and tap into their soul, because that to me is the ultimate solution that hasn't been said enough. There's all types of conspiracy theories and conspiracy facts, but the actual truth of it all is who's awakening Kundalini. And I remember when we started Chakra Nova, everybody was on their chakra stuff. And then they went off their chakra stuff and got into their cryptocurrency and this, that, and the third. We still on the chakra stuff, because it's not going to be a day and a time where I feel like, okay, we master chakra energy, y'all. We going to progress into demonology now. No, we're in tune into our response systems. We're understanding our glands. We're having the conversations. We're awakening the Kundalini, and we're not giving up. We're perpetual, because I personally feel like this message is different and this message is lucid, and all a person needs to do is be first understand that they're not alone in this, and then understand that the effort is required of them for themselves. If you buy the book and put it in and collect dust, it's not going to help me or hurt me. It just is what it is. But that wasn't my intention. My intention was for you to read it, take notes, take it seriously, and tap into your energy centers. Because you're not going to tell me that you're doing the root lock exercise and your root chakra is not activated. You just didn't do it, or you didn't read it, and you were just looking for the juicy parts or the good parts. But I digress. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a great mountain blazing with fire was hurled into the sea, and the third of the sea was turned to blood. So the sea is our emotions. This great mountain blazing with fire is our solar plexus chakra, and ultimately we overcome our emotions when we activate our solar plexus. Meaning that our emotions are a state of something that we did yesterday, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, something that our mama did to us, something that our boyfriend did to us that allow us to hold these emotional frequencies, to which we then date people to help us heal those emotional frequencies, to which it is our responsibility to let that shit go. To which, why you hold on to that shit but didn't hold on to that shit? Right? What about the shit you let go? And another thing, when y'all hear people talking about the shadow, because I'm talking about the shadow, please be like, Hood says that the shadow ain't nothing negative. The shadow is a positive entity that we need to tune in and tap into. And y'all just on Google referencing y'all shadow work. And instead of trying to steal his shit and come up off his work, why don't you take the course yourself? And then make cool memes about it. And then talk about shadow work after you take the class. Because this ain't a competition. This is real. I digress. Yeah. Solar plexus. Getting over your emotions. Tapping into your directives or spiritual will or Kundalini energy. Why do we attune to our soul? For directives. If we don't attune to our soul, then we attune to something else. And whatever that something else is just crash dummy behavior. And so when you reference your crash dummy behavior and you can't explain your crash dummy behavior, you call it the shadow. But that's not the shadow. That's just you being a crash dummy and you not being able to explain it because you reading books. Book after book after book, which reference lie after lie after lie. It's not to say that a movie is a bad thing, but at the same time, a movie is a lie, isn't it not? It's a bunch of actors and a bunch of stages, directors and writers and things of that nature. A movie isn't real. This is why it's poison to watch movie after movie, because then you're really tapped into a fantasy, really tapped into a motive to be the greatest at what you're doing, when that's never was the goal. The goal is to simply in tune with your soul. Meaning that I don't take this shit for granted, nor that I'm here for any type of clout. But at the same time, I do smell something rotten in the cotton, and my nose can't help but to twitch from time to time. And that's just the facts of it all. But I digress and move forward. Just solar plexus, spiritual will, directives, and things of that nature taking over. Peace to everybody. Just want to make sure. Yeah, we touched on that. 9 out of 13 verses. Thank y'all for being patient with me as I go through these verses, and hopefully you can take this information, take it and tune into your soul and begin to really take your process of self-realization and self-deification seriously, because you put a lot of effort and work into that real estate class. You ain't sold a house yet. Verse 9, and the third of the living creatures that were in the sea died, and the third of the ships were destroyed. So the living creatures that were in the sea. So the living creatures that were in the sea. What is the sea? The sea is the emotions. I'm gonna quiz y'all on that. If the sea come up again, I'm gonna be like, all right, what does the sea represent in the Bible? What does water represent in the Bible? Your emotions. So the living creatures that were in the sea are the living entities that you create within your emotions. What does that look like in real life? People that you ain't never gonna be with, that you imagine yourself with off the internet because they DM you from time to time. You think that's gonna be your boo things and things of that nature. That's a living creature that was in the sea. But when you do Kundalini work, them energies die. I'll be talking real reckless in my DMs now. What you gonna do for me? Oh, hood, I thought you was the hood mystic. Peace, love, and light. I am, but when I deal with my shadow says that ain't nothing coming easy. Not even your energy and attention, Kyrie. You can give your energy and attention to yourself. It ain't that easy. And then I reflect that to people. I say, boy, you is bold. But then I say, you is right. You right and bold. So it better be right and bold than to be wrong and nice. Nice etymology is stupid. I'm learning that. Took me a while. I said it, but I ain't internalize it. Because them living creatures in my sea was still alive and swimming, right? The mermaids and things of that nature. The living creatures that were in the sea died when you activate your solar plexus chakra. Everything ain't no fantasy no more than it is tuning in to this actual life that you living in, as opposed to hating it. So you have the removal of the images, fantasies, and prejudices and motives, because that's what the ships are. The ships are the motives. So you have your sea, you have your emotions, and your emotions create how you're about to create the situation in this relationship. The motive is, I'm going to rob this dude. A motive is, I'm going to take advantage of this girl. A motive is, I'm going to love this person. This is a ship. But even that needs to be destroyed, because this is the problem when you got into a relation with her. You said, oh, I love you, I care about you, and then 2 weeks later she did some wild shit and you ain't love her no more, but you was beholden to what you said 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks then turned to 2 years. But 18 months ago you realized that you didn't love her, but you just held on to what you said a year ago, meaning that chakra activation is destroying those ships. See, nobody is talking about this. That's why I decided to do this video today, so hopefully y'all don't mind. The third angel sounded. So this is the solar plexus to the heart chakra. The third angel sounded his trumpet. Trumpet is a mandala. A mandala is a circle. It's a hole. It's a void. It's a womb of creation to which you activate your chakras, the barrier, the gateway to your soul. And to get to your soul is, in the Bible they talk about seals, and when you open these 7 seals, what do you get? A diamond ring, a flashy chain, a Gucci suit. Shout out to Sacred Serpent. But no, you get your soul. And a great star fell from heaven. So a great star thus would be a star in heaven, right? That fell from heaven. So this is energies that is perfect, that have entered the energy of earth. So if a great star fell from heaven, it was a perfect energy and entity that fell from heaven that reflected on earth, burning like a torch, meaning that it had to be seen, it had to be bear witness to. And it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of fresh water. So this is your bloodstream. So when it references your blood and you think blood is negative, no, blood is life. Meaning that, okay, if blood ain't life, then let me take all the blood out of your body and see if you're going to live. If I took all the blood out of your body, would you live? No, you would die, meaning that blood is life. So ultimately, when they're referencing rivers and the springs of fresh waters, what do these represent? Your emotions. Third of the rivers, springs of fresh waters. This is all water. But once again, when you reflect on the perfect mind, thank you, Chica. When you reflect on the perfect mind, which is within yourself through a meditative process, meaning that you're not concerned with what's going on in the external world. You're reflecting on your perfect mind, and you bring this energy to your heart chakra. This is the perfection of your soul reflecting on the imperfection of the lower energies and saying, guess what, guys? We got some solutions. Guess what? Fret not because you're not rich. Fret not because you don't got a baby daddy. Fret not because you don't got a baby mama. We are going to get you together, and all you have to do is stop thinking so much. Because your thinking are reflecting on your lower self in your human existence, and it's not going to serve us in this overall evolution, or dare I say transformation. Bandwidth stronger than an old lady. Verse 11. The name of the star is Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the waters because they had become bitter, toxic. Hood Mystic 38. So once again, these are analogies and symbols. It's not talking about the specific wormwood, but if you do need the specific wormwood, you can go to ColumbianExchange.com, where we sell wormwood at $3 for an ounce. Wormwood is my go-to herb for spiritual and psychic abilities. I'm not only a president, I'm also a client of the Wormwood fan club. Matter of fact, I do have a Facebook group that hasn't been started yet, but will be started. It's the Wormwood fan club. And if you need any type of assistance in psychic abilities, please don't come to me. Come to Wormwood. That has been my TED Talk. Thank you. So, a deeper analogy to wormwood would be bitterness and greatness. So the activated chakra, the star that comes down from heaven that peers on the lower self, it sees the imperfection, and this would be called wormwood, meaning that it's a bitter reality, but it's a beautiful, magnificent herb. And if you can't get past the taste, you'll never get the benefits of wormwood. Because I tell you, wormwood will tap you the hell in. It'll tap you in. But it tastes like shit. And you can't take it when you're pregnant because it's high powered. Look at wormwood and absinthe. It's a real drug that is used for psychic abilities. It'll definitely tap you in, but it tastes horrible. Such as the Kundalini process. Such as transformation, to which y'all want to be Jet Beauty of the Week. You want to be on the cover of Men's Health and still be tuned in and tapped into the spiritual work. And I'm not saying that it isn't that way. I'm saying that refining and redefining your exterior is not the way to chakra activation. I mean, take care of the exterior, but also take care of the interior by meditation. And one would say, well, I exercise. That's my meditation. No, that's your exercise for the body. There's only one interest that the human and the soul have in common, and that is the meditation. To which a morning started off with some nasty ass wormwood and a complete silence and complete non-movement will tap you in. And shout out to all the hood girls out there, you know, all my little tenderonies out there that be getting readings and things of that nature. And it's a lot going on out there for you, sis. But at the end of the day, fuck all that shit. Fuck the city girls, fuck Cardi B, fuck Megan Thee Stallion, fuck all of that shit. Tune to your soul. Fuck what's going on with the hair store. Fuck what's going on with such and such. Fuck the little neighborhood gossip. Fuck your homegirls on that bullshit, always getting you in this shit. Now you gotta pick her up from work because she can't get her shit together. It's time for all of y'all to let all of that shit go. Cause I be tapped in and tuned in. I'm the hood mystic, so it be like 21-year-olds just trying to get it together, and it's like I get it. The world is there, but at the same time, your soul is here, and it's really important that the goddesses understand that they goddesses. They not dots. They not hoes. They not here for a man's physical satisfaction. More than they here to in tune with their souls and take control of their spiritual lineages, because a lot of them are what they call priestesses, right? But if you let a nigga call you a hoe and a thought, you feel me, and you internalize that and you live up to that behavior through spells and sigils and magic and things of that nature, meaning you twerking and showing your ass, you don't even know why you doing it, you just looking for attention, and the reality is that they done put a whole spell on us. And then it's like, how do we revert that? We tuning into the priestess energy. We tapped into the priestess frequency, and that's just the reality. And so, how do you tap into this priestess energy? By sitting the fuck down and shutting the fuck up and relying on your intuition to lead you the rest of the way. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, because you've been inundated with a whole bunch of information that's contrary to in tuning to yourself and sitting down and relaxing. You got to be at the club, you got to be at the beauty shop, you got to get the mani and pedi, and you got to take care of the kids, and you got to maintain the friction that's going on with your baby daddies, because you know they don't like each other. So all of this shit that's going on, and at the same time, it's like, what do I need to do to make this shit right? You need to tap into the bitter shit, because my young ladies, they want the sweets. They want the sugar. Sugar babies. They want life to be sweet. But I tell you, if you can, you already beautiful. You already a goddess. You already a priestess. You already got it figured out. Now, the next part is tapping into the bitterness side of life. This is where you flourish. This is where you transform. When you say, fuck that shit. I'm me. Listen. It's nothing more beautiful, and everybody will attest to this, to a person that comes into their own. When a person says, I don't give a fuck how you feel about me, this is who I am, and I don't care if you like it or not. There's nothing more beautiful than that. So this is the energy of Wormwood, and this is the reflection of an activated heart chakra. Verse 12 out of 13. Get some water. Then the fourth angel sounded his trumpet. So the fourth angel would be the heart chakra to the throat chakra. Sounded the trumpet, activated the throat chakra. And the third of the sun, and the third of the moon, and the third of the straw, and the third of the stars were struck. So now we're at a point where we see the right and exactness of our spiritual journey, and then we come to a major crossroad and a major threshold in our spiritual development. We turn away from the people who lie. Nothing comes clear when you do chakra work from a person that's lying to a person that's telling the truth, because the person that lies produces a particular energy, to which they so used to people hearing their words and projecting a particular body language magic and a mentalism that they forget about their essence. So we're into the energies of life hacks and spiritual life hacks and things of that nature. We're taking the fire, our Kundalini activation, and we're bringing it to the resin and creating the essence of soul work. So that's our sincerity, that's our effort to know self. And this is going to be our calling card. I don't know, it was something about her. I don't know, it was something about him. He a little dusty, and his Air Force Ones got doodle stains on it, but I think I'm going to give him a chance. I mean, who wears all white dirty Air Force Ones in 2021? I would rather you be barefoot. But it's something about him. He been doing Kundalini, I guess. Okay. So the third of the sun, third of the moon, third of the stars were struck. So the third of them would be darkened, and a third of the daylight would not shine, and the night in the same way would not shine. What are the hell is they talking about? So here we got the sun, the moon, and the stars. What are these? These are our teachers. These are our guides. If it wasn't for the sun, moon, and the stars, what you'll notice about spiritual people, they come off talking about demons. They start talking about herbs. They start talking about all of this fly spiritual stuff. Sooner or later, they realize that that shit don't work. And guess what they start talking about? Astrology. And you're like, well, damn. I thought you was talking about demons and connecting with ancestors and things of that nature. Why are you talking about astrology? Because these are our teachers. The sun and the moon and the eclipses and the conjunctions and the aspects are a beautiful thing. And they're wonderful teachers. They have taught me so much, and I'm just a wonderful transfer of that. However, when you do Kundalini work, when we activate in unison, this is why I'm putting out the books. That's why I'm putting out the information, so we could get past it all. See how it works? See how I couldn't do it by myself? See, if I just did it by myself and sat in my ivory tower and looked at y'all, I'd be looking like a damn fool. See, I say, wait a second, everybody needs to know this, and we need to get to this place together. We need to let all of this shit together, let it all go together. And then once we let it go, what do we hold on to? We hold on to our spiritual will, our directive, our ability to in tune to our soul. Well, Hood, you do astrology and things of that nature. What is you talking about? This is the truth. If I was going to be a lie, I say, hey, we gonna be studying astrology forever, y'all. We gonna always bear witness to astrological placements and things of that nature. If I had a whole gang of people that was activated and tuned into their souls, we would understand that we are the book, we are the celestial, we are the sun, we are the moon, we are the stars. But I digress. Sorry for that. Didn't mean to wake you up, or maybe I did. Sorry. Or not sorry. Sorry or not sorry. Sorry for not being sorry. When Kundalini reaches your throat chakra, you no longer need external teachers, teachings, or ideals, because you listen intently for your soul. You listen intently for your directives. And before you listen to your directive, you project. Because it's one thing to listen to your soul. It's a whole nother thing to listen to your soul and share. So in Chakra Nova, we reference the hearing, the throat, and the mouth being one organ. I'm gonna repeat that. Your hearing apparatus, your mouth, and your nose. All of this is one apparatus that's in reference to the things that you say and what you're actually listening to. So, once again, when do we speak? Let's start from the beginning and then bring us back to the top. After we have that half an hour of silence in heaven, we are in tuning with our soul, getting our directives, tuning into our spiritual will. If we do that consistently and persistently, and we hold the resonance and we raise our chakras all the way up to the throat chakra, now we're really in tune into that process. And if I'm really serious about transformation, I'm not going to mislead you and say, hey, you're going to be listening to the Hood Mystic forever. I'm going to just be here doing this same shit for life, fam. No. When you reference transformation, ain't no guarantees. And I'm dead set on transformation. Not to say that you might not hear me, but you might hear me on iHeartRadio or something like that. You might hear me on Sirius XM. You might hear me on my own Patreon. Or you might not hear me at all. I might just go back to driving a truck. Who knows? I'm here for the transformation. I'm here for the Kundalini of it all. I'm here for the directives for which my soul tells me. The thing about what your soul tells you is that it's not to be manipulated by me. This is where we fuck up at. This is where we bring compromise into it. Meaning that if your soul tells you it, it means it. Not to say that you're ready for it, but it might even know that you're not ready for it. But at the same time, it's going to give you the truth. Now, what you do or what you don't do would be the ultimate of the ultimates. But the realization is always there. You always know you want threesomes. You just don't tell your girl you want threesomes. You always know you want threesomes, but you don't never tell your husband you want a threesome with him and his homeboy. You fantasize about it and think about it, but you would never say it like that because you don't want to ruin the relationship. But at the end of the day, it ain't hurting nobody but you. Because your soul is already telling you what the situation is, what type of freak you are. You that kind of freak because you thinking about that kind of freaky stuff. But if you're not verbalizing it, who is you hurting? You hurting yourself. And if you with a partner that you can't be honest with and tell your truth with because they want to bring about compromises with you, well, you shouldn't want threesomes. Well, who are you to tell me what I should want or what I shouldn't want? Oh, you shouldn't want to be with multiple men. Well, who are you to tell her that she can't have multiple men? Because when you do this Kundalini work, you transform, you might come to the realization that you want 3 or 4 dudes. You might want a dude for every single day, and you've been playing it low key, faithful type energy. Meaning that the scary thing about this, the honesty about it, is that it is no manipulation coming from you to transmogrify it into your personal wants and desires, because you tuning in and tapping into your soul directives. So this is essentially what it's referencing of the sun, the moon, and the stars being struck and darkened. Meaning that your usual teachers are not there to teach you. When you activate your throat chakra, and it's somewhat confusing. When you need somebody to listen to, and you need somebody to mentor you, and you need an elder, and there ain't nobody there. You might go into the space, well, I ain't got no dad, I ain't got no mama, I don't got no grandmama, nobody care about me, don't nobody love me. To which you had your whole soul there the whole entire time, and you just never in tune to it. This is who this conversation is for. Because if you don't have nobody, that's actually good, because nobody is going to block you from tuning into your soul in a perpetual understanding of non-thought, a perpetual understanding of non-action with no expectations, but just simply listening and activation. God's people, yourselves, through the process of Kundalini, high water intake. I mean, take your soul work seriously. Or not. Last verse. The King James Version is much different from the Amplified Version, so I'll do a little combination of both, but I'll just reference from the Amplified Version because it's on my screen and I feel like changing it. But it's going to make it a little bit harder to explain, but I'll do my best. Then I looked and I heard a solitary eagle flying in the mid-haven for all to see, saying with a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe, great wrath is coming to those who dwell on earth, because of the remaining blast of the trumpets, which the 3 angels are about to sound, announcing even greater judgment." So then I looked, and I heard a solitary eagle flying in the mid-haven for all to see. Once again, it's a conundrum or some literary device where he's saying a solitary eagle, and then the next couple of words he's saying for all to see, meaning that solitary and for all to see is an oxymoron, meaning that the internal brings about the external. Because, first of all, we're in the realms of revelation where it's just one person having an internal experience. So when he looks, he's looking within. And so the King James Version says, "Then I beheld." So when you look up the etymology or even the definition of beheld, it means to be held within or look within. So basically, it's saying when I look within, I heard a solitary message flying in my midhaven, more or less flying in my peripheral or flying at the very top of the sky, meaning I'm completely in tune to my higher chakras at this particular point. And it's saying with a loud voice so the world can hear. It's going to be crazy for people that's attaching themselves to the earth, because these other three chakras that's going to be activated is going to particularly obliterate what we call as humanity. It's a reason that you are the enemy of the state. It's a reason that you are looked at as negative when you do this spiritual work, because when you in tune to your spirit, when you in tune to your soul, you have the deeper, more transformative expressions on the external world. And I know that's hard to believe, and I know you can't actually wrap your head around it, but let's just bear witness to when, how popular the spiritual energy is over these years. And then let's look at the world that we live in reference to the growth of spiritual energy. Meaning that we're on the right path, and we just need to get a little bit more educated in the mechanics and the functions of the spiritual life. Yeah, we've made an understanding of this conscious understanding, but a deeper level is that we're not quite masters of it yet. And the people that we view as masters aren't as masterful in reference to the energies that are happening in this present moment, to which we can now come together and integrate and understand how to really, really do this by integrating our soul with our humanity before we integrate our beings with other beings. So do not fret if you don't have a lot of money. Do not fret if you're not the richest person in the planet, because the availability of your soul is like super duper affordable and in plethora, like demand and supply. Like it's so available for you. It's literally free 99, right? So because we go within and we receive this clear intuition from the soul, we don't look for a pastor, healer, tarot reader, or YouTube spiritualist to get us over the hump. In this verse where they say those who dwell on the earth, Zachary Lansdowne defines this as the inhabitants of the earth are feelings of identification with the physical body. In reference to people who read a lot of books, I'm not saying that reading a lot of books is bad, but I'm saying you can read the same book over and over again and get different reflections and inflections. So I say get a selection of 5 books that you love and study those books and read those books backwards to front, frontwards to back, and just stay in the books that you resonate with, as opposed to just reading a whole bunch of random corny ass books that's not going to help you do nothing but flood your mind with false information. So the inhabitants of the earth are feelings of identification with the physical body. So great wrath is coming to those who dwell on the earth, because of the remaining blast of these higher chakras will not allow the inhabitants of the earth or those who identify supremely with the physical body to exist. And this is more of prophecy. This is more of facts, because I used to ain't believe it. Now I fully believe it now. I'm a believer now. This shit is real, and I understand what I'm saying now. So I'm more into saying it. I'm more into bringing the point home, because I feel like my people don't fully get the message. But I ultimately believe once we do get the message, the world is going to do a topsy-turvy, flippily-dippily, wonderful, magical, Alice in Wonderland, twerk for the Kabbalion. So, the chakras are specialized energy centers which connect us to the multi-dimensional universe. The chakras are dimensional portals within the subtle bodies which take in and process energy of higher vibrational nature so that it may be properly assimilated and used to transform the physical body. Richard Gerber, I couldn't say that better myself. I should have said that and ended the video 20 minutes ago, a whole hour and a half ago. Lordy, what did I do? I just wasted these folks' time. I should have just read that quote. That quote is profound, but the only way you'll hear that quote again is if you watch this video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It should be no reason you be watching my videos all the time and haven't subscribed to my channel and hit the notification bell. It's only going to help the algorithm, but at a certain point, look out for your boy, donate to the channel. What else can I say? Stay tuned for Soul Talk Chapter 9, where we'll deal with the root chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra. And that's going to be the next edition of Soul Talk. I'm going to bring these back until spirits say that's enough of Soul Talk. And the reason why I stopped doing Soul Talk in the first point, because I wasn't ready for this conversation. Obviously, y'all can tell I was ready for the conversation now, but sometimes you don't be ready for shit. And sometimes you got to do that deep inner work. You got to listen to your soul. But listen to your soul don't have to be boring. You can reflect. You can share. You can do challenges. Shout out to my wife, the 33-day Goddess Challenge. Shout out to my kids, too. Shout out to y'all kids. Y'all kids are funny. What else? Shout out to y'all mamas. Shout out to your daddies. Happy Father's Day. I hope we all tuned in to Sunday service this Sunday. We got Michael Bell and Dreamwise holding it down for the fathers. I'll be there in the chat room causing a ruckus. Won't be talking no shit though. I'm going to be tuned in and standing up for the fathers. Shadow work June 26, 11 a.m. We going all day with that. So if you got things to do, don't worry. I'll send you the recording. But if you're a trooper and you ready for this information, put on your thinking caps. I need whole notebooks. I need whole pens. I ain't promising no workbook. I'm not promising a workbook because it's not done yet. But I am promising a class. But I want to get a workbook done. But the difference between the workbook for shadow work is that I feel like I just have to really write that book. Like, I'm not about to just play with y'all with those shadow work books. So give me a second or two. Chakra Nova was more like that. Took a whole year to write, and I've just been I ain't taking a break from writing books, but I'm taking a break from writing books. Man, thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for activating y'all chakras just a little bit further. Shout out to Prime. Shout out to Sacred. Shout out to Elijah. We're going to be here on the Chakra Nova movie set, studio set, i.e. my creative mind and my Adobe products. Oh yeah, if you need any digital design, graphics, thumbnails, lower thirds, some video stuff, some animation stuff. I'm trying to do some graphic design, but I want to build a portfolio. So I ain't doing nothing for free, but I will do it for cheap if you'll let me build up my graphic design portfolio. So if you know somebody or need some work, holler at your boy, hoodmystic@gmail.com. Thank y'all for y'all time. I'm about to hopefully eat dinner before it gets too late. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the flip side, man. Peace.